we went to Belvin across the Yamuna River. Now that was an experience, like, and that was more of like, I don't know, like the hero's journey. Like we walked, pretty far. How far? We walked 10 miles, something like what was it? 10.5 miles that day, and we went to the rural outskirts of Vrindavan.
I mean, the best part, though, was when we got to the Yamuna River, which really is an incredibly holy river, and you can see the devotion that's poured into it and all of the pollution, right? Like, it's an interesting dichotomy, you know, between this, like, holy worship and also the treatment, you know, and it's like, from what you've told me, the way they believe, it's just all Maya, you know, it's all just an illusion, and if you can get to a certain level in your practice, you can see beyond all of that Maya, and that's just, you know, the pollution, the chaos, like all these things.
Yeah.
But we got to the river and we got to take a boat across, and it was like a very local boat. You know, we were the only two Westerners on the boat, and there was like, we were all just sitting there, and it was really an amazing experience because it didn't really feel like there was much separation. You know, all of us were just on this little boat, sitting, crossing the Yamuna River and having little conversations, because Dev here can speak Hindi, and I think that's what was a really incredible experience, was like being all together in this, and there not being any hierarchical moment or any sort of like separation. It really just was, and there was no kind of spiritual practice going on, but it was spiritual in its own way. And then when we cross, you know, we get to Belvin, and yeah, it was very rural, very poor. A lot of kids there that just might never go beyond that place, you know, and I think it's really difficult to face your own privilege in that moment, and to, you know, recognize that there's a lot of suffering happening just at the basic physical level, you know, beyond getting like clean water or food or just, you know, these things that we really take for granted. And yeah, it's hard to sort of like rationalize or ask, you know, why was I born in this place in time, and why was this person born here, and just kind of like, how does this all make sense? You know, why is this fair, is not fair? And so it's a lot to reflect on, you know, to just have these experiences. And I think that's also a part of like taking India with you when you leave. It's like, you know, waiting in line at the post office is not going to seem like a big deal anymore. You know, these things that we take as being like the end of the world because we're so unique and special, and it's like, God forbid we have to wait 30 minutes in line, oh my God, you know, or just like whatever obnoxious things that we throw a fit about. You know, for me at least, like these experiences will inform that, and I might flash back and think about those moments in Belvin and be like, this is nothing. This is literally nothing. Like, I have so much to be grateful for.
We walked through a swamp with a local farmer.
With a local farmer
who was so nice. He was just like,
I was
lost. Like, yeah. And I was like, Jen, are you all right? And you were like, I need to sit down. And then everything here is kind of, I would say, played out perfectly in the right time.
Yeah.
Like that farmer came at the perfect time to save us, because I know it was frustrating.
Yeah.
To really think about going through that. Yeah. The muck that was along the Yamuna, and
it's so much mental. I mean, it's so much, like, physically we would have been fine for a lot longer, you know, like it wasn't like we were trekking through the desert for days, you know.
40 days and 40 nights.
But it's like your spirit and your mind gets so agitated because it's like, oh, I don't know where to put this experience. I don't know how to, I've never, you know, I don't have experiences like this. I'm used to seeing things and being around certain things, and to where do I place this, within my psyche? And so your mind becomes so agitated and it wants to like react. It wants to freak out and be like, I can't do this. I can't walk through this cow pasture anymore. Like, I just want to get to the boat, and can we just go home? And like, and it's so for me, I was glad to just take a minute to sit, because I had to just surrender to that moment. And in that moment is when the Baba, or I want to call him a Baba, like Farmer Baba.
Yeah, Farmer Baba.
Came by and was like, come with us. And then it was like, we're pulling up our pants and walking through the river and holding the shoes. And the best part is like, we finally get to the boat, and then we have him come with us. And then as soon as we pull up to the shore, I go to step and just, my foot just goes like, I
think like, what was it, like a good like foot into, was it it was deep. You went deep into muck along the banks of the Yamuna.
And I was just like, I just laughed. I was like, you know what, it is what it is, and this is how it is. And so we pulled it out and we cleaned it off, and it was just like, whatever,
we came out of that muck looking like hobbits, just like that journey, but yeah, like you said, we're so used to structure in the West, and so used to plan and in the individual, and when you don't have that, and you feel almost lost, and when you don't have the structure. But what's beautiful about India is that when you don't have the structure, there's the community to help you. And that's the farmer who came by and helped us through. We were going to go through that, by the way. Whether the farmer came through or not, we were going through that muck. I just want to let you know. But he kind of just aimed us there, and it was like, all right, cool. We made it, But yeah, that ride across the boat, though, towards Belvin was beautiful, because I think that it just represented, just the communal aspect of India, and sitting on the boat with the locals, just in not any kind of spiritual sense, even though you could consider it spiritual, but it was very just going across the river. Well, I think, as the locals do.
I think what India represents too is like, it dissolves your own mask, and there is no mask. You know what I mean? Like in the West, we're all very sort of put together. Like we kind of hide the things we don't want to see. Like the old people go in the homes, and the sick people are in the hospitals, and the poor people are in the ghettos, or like, the places that are kind of, oh, we don't go there in the cities, oh, don't look at that. Don't look at that. We're very sort of just like, we don't want to look at that. We don't want to be uncomfortable. And here in India, it's all about being uncomfortable. You are constantly uncomfortable, and it's being, getting used to that discomfort. And there is no mask. People are very real, and they're just like reactions, and, seeing things on the street, like it's very much in your face.
There's no covering
getting out of it.
There's no covering the material aspects that are uncomfortable here. There's no hiding.
Yeah.
Except when the political leaders come in, but we won't get to that. Anyways, when you come to India, India shows itself. I mean, is the bottom line. I love how you've described it, because I'm not so great at articulating like live like this, and I think you've really captured it.